At the Community for Creative Nonviolence shelter, the air conditioning has been broken for weeks. So ironically, many residents now seek shelter outdoors. For most of the elderly here, the only choice is to stay put. The conditions are brutal.
Hot weather, they can barely breathe most of the time, and so we have the ambulances over here all the time.
CCNV's president, Terry Bishop, is asking anyone who can to donate fans or window air conditioners. Without them, symptoms can set in quickly, according to GW emergency room doctor Jennifer Sarathi.
Mental status changes or changes in your mentation, if you start getting confused, also if people start feeling dehydrated or lightheaded or feeling nauseous, those are things to look out for.
As a precaution, D.C.'s Office of Emergency Preparedness has now opened several cooling centers, places where the air conditioning works and a cup of cold water can be found. They are at the Reeves Center at 14th and U Streets Northwest, at 4103 Benning Road, and at 25 M Street Southwest. The office's director asks you to do your part in spreading the word.
Make sure that they look out for the neighbors. Because we found in the past history that a lot of people are in the house by themselves.
In Northeast, the 200 children attending a summer camp are anything but alone. They sure were hot until help arrived in the form of a hydrant shower.
It's a wonderful thing because there's no swimming pool in the area. We don't have any place for kids to play, and this is really, really wonderful.
Summer school has to be bad enough, but at Evans Junior High in the district, a partial power outage sent the students scrambling for shade. Pepco crews tried to get the fans back on. Didn't give them much time for classes.
It got hot. Then they sent us to the cafeteria, and then they told us we had to stay out here till 11:30.
When school was let out an hour early at 11:30, the kids found a waiting torrent of cooling water and grateful parents.
They're having fun. I'm about to go get into myself as soon as I put my bathing suit on.
Does it get hot in these buildings?
Yes, it does.
Tell me.
It get real hot. We don't have no air, so we have to get cool the best way we can.
They were saying essentially the same thing at the Washington Tennis Center. Pros, including former #1 Jim Courier, practiced under a glaring noontime sun, drinking gallons of water and trying to cope.
I'll drink lots of water, all the things you hear even on the television.
Now, one warning you'll hear frequently during this heat spell is about locking a child or a pet in a closed-up car. If you don't know why, we can show you by putting a thermometer in the car for a few moments and coming back to see what it reads. Well, 15 minutes have passed, so we can pull the thermometer out and see that it reads nearly 120 degrees. That is a dangerous temperature.
People like elderly people or children who don't have the normal sort of defense mechanisms against heat, they can develop heat exhaustion and heat stroke very rapidly.
Some people seem to take the heat in stride. Tourists on the mall, for instance, duck for shade, while others take their daily run like this is all no big deal. But what are you, nuts?
Yeah, absolutely crazy. There's no other word to explain it.
I mean, you're doing fine, it seems.
Yeah, well, I slowed down, went a shorter distance, and drank some water.
That's great advice that not all of us heed. At the Prince George's County Fire Dispatch Center, as the temperatures rose, so did the volume of calls for help.
Okay, and your mom's having trouble breathing?
Find me Rescue 3 and Medic 2, please.
Our ambulance calls have picked up dramatically within the past hour. We've probably seen a 25% increase in the amount of calls. The majority of the people calling in now are saying that they feel this is a heat-related type case. Numerous trouble breathings, heart attacks, nausea, dizziness, which are all signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion.
We went along on one of the calls that showed on the screen for heat problems. A woman had passed out in a parked car. As you can see, she recovered quickly. Ambulances also were called at least 4 times to the Youth Law Enforcement Conference in College Park. One boy became ill at the evasive driving session.
Yeah, he had just come from the physical fitness course after eating breakfast. So, but we've been trying to keep him cool by giving him lots of water and making sure we got ice over here. And So if we see them starting to get a little too warm, we try and get them in the shade and cool them down the best we can.
You don't see uniformed Metropolitan Police Department officers working a loading dock every day. But as D.C.'s new chief from Chicago knows, a severe heat spell isn't to be taken lightly.
I'm particularly sensitive to this because of what we went through in Chicago a few years ago with a heat wave that hit there, and we had almost 700 people die from heat-related injury. And I'm not saying that anything like that would happen here, and I pray it never happens anywhere, but I think that the police ought to be concerned, that we ought to get involved in any way we can.
So the police teamed up with the Office of Emergency Preparedness. They bought coolers, found a water company to donate bottles, and an ice company to give them ice.
They've been working with us, and we try our best to work with them, and plus with the community too.
So now squad cars are equipped with some new equipment in addition to handcuffs, and officers like these partners in the 5th District are able to greet the people on their beat with a helping hand and a cool bottle of water.
We're there to do more than just arrest people. We're there to serve the public. This is just one form of public service.